Hey everybody, welcome to the video blog. Wave 3 News meteorologist Brian Good here. This latest edition of Snow Talk, where we always look at the long-term pattern to see what is out there for snow lovers. It's been a tough winter for you guys, I get it, but as I keep stating, and I know that some of you are tired of hearing it, winter is far from over, and even the groundhog confirmed it today. But we do have, February and March, the past couple of years especially, we've had some decent snow events, so it snowed all the way to March 20th last year, so anything is certainly possible, and I've seen some wild things happen in those 2 months. You usually get more wet snows in February and March, which is good for those that don't like snow, because most snow events from here on out only stick around for a day or two and then they're gone. So as far as impact goes, it's less severe than what you would have in December and January. So usually it's a happy medium this time of the year for snow lovers and the snow haters. Everybody gets satisfied usually in snow events for February and March. So to me, this is good. If we're going to get all the core of it now, let's get it done at a better time. All right, let's run down the stats. Yeah, still below normal. We should be at 6.7. We're at 4.8. Normal, by the way, is about 12.5 for a season. So got some time to make up there. But notice the last year's stat has not moved much at all in the past couple weeks, 14.1. It took a while to really get going for that second wave of snowfall, the second part of the season. That was in February and March. On the board, Wednesday night and Thursday. I'm going to do one Twixbar for right now. As always the case, we're going to go slow with this and break down the data, and then tomorrow I'll have a better idea on how things are going to play out for us. Let's cover what's happening this afternoon. We've had a few snow flurries flying around. We've got a hint or two of sunshine, but the clouds really thicken back up and the snowflakes are flying. But wouldn't rule out a dusting here across areas around E-Town once again, but most of these will be light flurries overall that we're talking about flying through. Look at those winds, though, gusting to 21 miles per hour. We're not even going to get to 30, I don't think, here today. And if you look carefully where it has cleared completely, you can see the path of that heavy snow right across Indiana all the way up into here. You can see the lakes and rivers there when the sun comes up from space where that heavy snowpack is. 18 to 20 inches in Chicago out of that. All right, our system coming up for Wednesday and Thursday. It's a Arctic front that is going to move in during this period. Now, the question, and here's the thing on this. First off, the front is on shore, so it is being fully sampled, which is good. What we're going to see, though, is the potential for two interactions, a phasing that could take place, and that is what can cause some hiccups when it comes to forecasting a setup like this. It is an Arctic front, so there may be a chance for rain or a mix at the beginning stages of it, but it is a very cold atmosphere. All the data supports that. So this is mainly a snow event for us the way it's looking, even though we'll be around 50 or so the day before that it does arrive. But it is a chain setup here. Mainly light snow. There's a few things we're going to keep an eye on. Let me show you the latest here on our RPM model. First off, it breaks out the chance for snow in the afternoons to the north. Look at temperatures, though. Here in Lovo, close to 50, lower 50s to the south. You're thinking, hey, even if it snows, it's going to melt as soon as it falls. The roads will be fine. Not with an Arctic front. It does not matter how warm you got that day. With an Arctic front and the big drop we're expecting, you can still get slick roads. So, watch the temperatures drop as we enter the evening hours. Snow breaks out just after sunset. Notice that thin layer of pink on the very leading edge. That's where there initially could be a brief mix, but you can see it quickly just goes over to snow once you get into that colder air that rushes in. Moves its way to the south around late evening. Temperatures continue to drop, and then by the time we get into sunrise, in the teens. That's going to be a quick freeze. So anything that falls, snow-wise, will stick and still be there for Thursday morning's commute. That is our concern. Not so much the amounts at this stage. Right now we're looking at timing issues, and that looks to be an issue for the morning commute on Thursday. And notice the RPM was mainly Wednesday evening, moving it out here quickly. The NAM model is slower with this push. It doesn't start to bring out the precipitation until 8 in the evening to our north. Works its way in around 2 a.m. and still snowing in our southern counties by the rush. Something still falling, but it still has a big drop into the teens and 20s. So we've got to nail down the timing here, whether it's going to be evening or it's going to be after midnight. And that, I think, is going to depend on a couple things. But that's our debate. We're going to have to figure out. It will be our issues with the timing of this front and moisture. The latest Euro just came in. This is what I'm talking about. It's trying to phase energy. It's moving out of the Gulf of Mexico. It's trying to form a bigger storm on the eastern seaboard once again. The best energy, though, even with that, would mainly be in the northern part of that. So 64 north would be the best potential for maybe better snow ratios that could develop out of that system. But so far, the Euro is the only one that's so aggressive on that idea. The other model is not as aggressive, more of a front, more of a wave of snow, as you saw there. So we'll see if the Euro is onto something or not when we see future model runs. The Schreff model, which is made up of different ideas, I like that because the black line is the average of all those ideas. And right now, the average, it's hard to see. This is 1 inch right here, so it's averaging right around 1 inch for Louisville. There are some models that are saying that that total would be higher, at a few inches of that, in fact. And that's quite a few members in the upper category. And I think it's because it's trying to pick out the idea, are we going to see a phased system passing through our night and better snow ratios that could give her, some of our area anyway, higher totals than expected. So I'm not going to give out totals in our forecast yet because of that issue. Got to figure out ratios, how much moisture, and there's going to be any phasing. That'll all affect the numbers. At this point, the data at least supports a light coating of snow that will impact travel, and that's the idea we want to make sure that we're getting across today, is that's what the potential is for Thursday morning's commute. Could this become a bigger accumulating event, add a few more inches to this? Can't rule that out. I'm not going to. I'm just going to say that's something we're going to be watching to see if that does happen as we get more data in the next 24 hours. Then we get a warm-up, because weird setup here for the weekend, for Sunday especially. We're going to have energy. It's going to dig down. I'll show you in a second what that looks like, but it is going to at least try to warm us up ahead of that. I think 50s are increasingly likely as we head toward either Friday or Saturday, or just Saturday, but warmer air looks to be moving its way in. And what you're going to see on the models here, the jet stream, the way it's looking now, it's going to take a dive in the east. The big question is how much of a dig is it going to have here in the Carolinas to form an area of low pressure that will go up the eastern seaboard, become potential another nor'easter when rolled out. Some of the models are less aggressive until it gets to here, then digs it and goes up, which would be little, if anything, just a wave of rain, no snow. Some are trying to dig it in quick, right over us, and then transfer the energy off the coast and heads up. So that's a question we need to answer. The indices do support the idea of a more eastern phased system, more than one that would typically phase over us. And that's the problem we're having so far this winter, is all the systems are coming in at more of an angle like this. And usually if you get a clipper, you get some snow. It's really hard to get a big snow out of that kind of a deal. We need the cold air to really arc itself more into the plain states in this kind of fashion and phase an area of low pressure in Texas and roll that bad boy out. That's what we need. But so far, the cold Arctic air has not been centered over the nation's heartland. It's been aiming itself in this direction, which is what we were forecast for the area for this winter. That's where the core of the coldest we were aiming for. But it's been keeping us from getting a decent snow event, and we've been missing out a lot. So we'll see if the trends hold there. When I looked at the longer-term temperatures, by the way, I did take a look at some colder air moving in later in the month. Here's that Vortmax I was telling you about. This is the GFS showing how it's trying to dig the energy. This is an energy reading you're looking at, and it's trying to dig the energy before it heads off to the eastern seaboard. But I decided to use the Ensemble model instead, which smooths out the roughness of the details, and it's not as dramatic, so that's the way we'll probably would trend. Rain showers probably Sunday, may end as some snow on Monday, but at this point, until we get a better idea of how much phasing or how much of a dig it has over us, we can't go crazy here on that snow risk for that potential. And there's the ensembles, not the actual model, but the ensembles for Valentine's Day and after. It's showing the Arctic air dipping into the nation's heartland. In fact, the actual model is very, very deep, very, very cold, and very, very snowy. Lots of clippers for the second half of the month of February. We'll see if that happens. You know how this season's gone so far. All right, so to sum it up, our main issue is going to be, by far, the idea of the Arctic front moving in as we head into Wednesday night and Thursday morning, and whether or not it can phase into a bigger system and change the snow amount potential out of this. But right now, it looks like a light snow event. Timing is everything on that one, and that was going to be our big concern. It's going to be the timing could impact the Thursday morning commute overall. All right, that's where we stand today, guys. Stay warm outside. It's cold. I'll see you today on the evening news, which I will have a special guest with me today, so you don't want to miss it.